All right. Well, hello everyone. Thank you for volunteering this year at the Our Justice State Fair booth. As you'll see in the training, our fair booth has been decades long tradition in this community, and your involvement means that we can continue to be there for years to come. A little about me. My name is Stephanie Shea. My pronouns are she, her, hers, and I'm working with Our Justice this summer to help organize their state fair efforts. I've also helped them in the past with their rebranding this last fall and currently work with Minnesotans for Trust, Respect, Access and Keep Birth Control Copay Free campaigns, both mentioned later. First, some housekeeping. Let's see here. So following this video, there is a short, easy quiz just to confirm that you all have watched and paid attention. In the quiz, there'll also be an opportunity for you to ask any questions in lieu of the interactive webinar that is normally done. Please make a note that in order to officially be added to the fair schedule, you do have to complete the quiz so we can verify that you have seen the training materials. Some additional notes. We are looking for people who can sign up as a backup in case we get any shift cancellations. Right now we have all of the shifts filled, which is wonderful, but there's always those last minute emergencies or scheduling conflicts that happen when you're working with 80 plus people over a couple of weeks. So if any of you would be available for potential last minute volunteering, please email me with your availability so that I can add you to the backup list. The week of the fair and throughout, we'll also be reaching out to volunteers to confirm their shifts and to follow up for feedback on their overall experience. So I'm looking for additional volunteers as well to assist with that. If this is something you're interested in, please send me a note with your availability between the dates of August 20th and September 6th. And then if you have any additional questions, you can also email me directly at statefairintern@ourjustice.net. And then my personal phone number is also included in the materials. So if you run into any issues or have urgent questions, you can contact me directly. Well, all right, so now we'll just get started. Here's an overview of what we'll be covering during this training. First, some background on Our Justice, what you'll be doing as a volunteer, where the booth is located and how to get there, some shift preparation, specific shift responsibilities, how to and to not engage people, general do nots, and then important numbers just in case. Okay, so some background on Our Justice. Our Justice was founded as the Abortion Counseling Services in 1967 by clergymen, doctors, and community members that wanted to assist people in accessing abortion care, which was illegal in most states at the time. 43 years ago, in 1974, Our Justice joined the Minnesota State Fair, and to this date, we're the only pro-choice organization at the fair, even though there are 3 anti-choice organizations that are there as well. The State Fair does not think that Our Justice is very family-friendly, which is kind of a bummer, and so because of that, other pro-choice organizations have tried to get a booth at the fair, but they haven't been granted that permission. So each year they kind of look for reasons to kick us out, but because we're always on our best behavior and a lot of people there enjoy seeing us, we haven't been yet. So hopefully we can keep that trend going. And then last September, Pro-Choice Resources commemorated its 50th anniversary with a name change to Our Justice, as well as a commitment to the framework of reproductive justice, which we'll talk about a little bit as it relates to advancing reproductive freedom. So, your role as a volunteer. You will be providing information about Our Justice to passersby and inviting them to get involved in the organization, and then talking with them about how they can access our resources should they need them. You'll also be educating fairgoers about reproductive justice and how it intersects with reproductive rights and other forms of social justice. We'd like you to, sell our merchandise and distribute safer sex supplies, and then encourage social media participation. So more about our justice. So we currently are focusing on the Abortion Assistance Fund, which serves Minnesotans who need an abortion but are unable to afford the cost or overcome barriers to accessing the procedure. This fund gives priority to people who are under the age of 18 or folks over the age of 18 who are 13 weeks or further from their last menstrual period. We also offer comprehensive sex education. Currently, materials are available at the booth or online on our website. And then in the past, we've had a range of additional programming, including Emerge, our after abortion support group, and then some local advocacy work. But currently, because we're going through some changes, those programs are on hold, and we hope to resume them in the future. So getting people involved. At the booth, we want people to engage in the following ways: by participating in the Keep Birth Control Copay Free campaign, signing up for our email list so they can receive activist alerts, like the announcements to get involved in the 2019 Bowl-a-thon next year, and then also additional volunteer opportunities. We do definitely want donations. This is super important so we can, help continue our fund and keep our doors open. But unfortunately, we cannot accept donations directly at the booth. So to get around this, people can tell us to keep the change. So if you sell a t-shirt for $15, they can, give us $40 and then we can keep that change. Or we also will have pledge envelopes that you can give people and then they can then take home, fill it out, send it back in. They're also welcome to donate directly on our website. They just can't do it at the booth. And you cannot make any donations within the booth boundaries. So they can't come into the booth and make a donation. I mean, really, they should be doing it immediately outside of the booth. Like if they wanted to make a donation via our website, and they want to do it today, they could leave and go outside of the grandstand and do it, but just not at the booth. All right. About Keep Birth Control Copay Free Minnesota. So this campaign is in partnership with Minnesotans for Trust, Respect, Access Coalition. Our Justice is a part of the coalition along with partners in CJW Minnesota, NARAL, Pro-Choice Minnesota, Gender Justice, and Planned Parenthood Minnesota, North Dakota, South Dakota Action Fund. The coalition overall works to protect and expand access to reproductive health care, including abortion and contraception. For this campaign, the coalition is working along with lead partners, Gender Justice, and the Public Leadership Institute to deliver this particular campaign. Keep Birth Control Copay Free Minnesota is a campaign dedicated to lifting up stories around the importance of birth control in our ability to plan our families, careers, and just plain live our lives. The campaign focuses on sharing our stories and educating people about the realities of birth control access and efforts to block it or make it more expensive or out of reach. So for example, we emphasize that because of the Obama-era birth control mandate through the Affordable Care Act, millions of people were able to get access to birth control for the first time without a copay, sometimes saving them literally thousands of dollars a year. Under the current Trump administration, these benefits are under attack. Not only is he threatening to revoke the mandate, he's also attacking Title X protections that allow groups like Planned Parenthood to ensure affordable birth control access for tens of thousands of Minnesotans who visit their clinics every year. So we definitely don't want that to happen. With this campaign, we're encouraging people to share their birth control stories. These stories will be shared digitally and used to protect advanced copay-free birth control in the state of Minnesota. So we want people to fill out the pledge cards that include a spot for them to write out their story and then some contact information so they can stay in touch with us. They can also sign up to write an op-ed or a letter to the editor so more people can learn about the value of accessible, affordable birth control from the point of view of individuals in our community. They can also share how much they've saved thanks to copay-free birth control through our interactive display that has custom Monopoly money that they can then take however much they would normally pay on birth control, and then they put it in these clear glass containers so we can see how it all adds up. And then we're also hosting listening sessions this fall in Greater Minnesota. So if they're not from the Twin Cities, they can definitely join us, and we'll have more information about those events at the booth. And then we also have a real fun step and repeat for people to take selfies in front of if they want to. And then, so here are some images just to show you what the campaign looks like a little bit. First, we've got a person holding some signs in front of the step and repeat. We've got a graphic of the card that they'll be filling out, and then one of the little Monopoly dollars that they can use. So our justice is dedicated to advancing reproductive freedom by ending reproductive oppression. Reproductive oppression is the regulation of reproduction and exploitation of people's bodies and labor based on race, sex, sexual orientation, class, gender, sexuality, ability, age, and immigration status. To do so, our justice takes on a reproductive justice framework as a more comprehensive alternative to the pro-choice framework. Reproductive justice is a framework developed by women of color that better reflects the complexities and realities of how reproductive oppression manifests in our day-to-day. So defined, reproductive justice is when all people and communities have the economic, social, and political power and resources to make healthy decisions about our bodies, sexuality, and reproduction. This includes the right to have children, not have children, and to parent the children we have in healthy and safe environments. So for example, think about all the things that impact your decision about when and how you want to have a child or grow your family, like environmental issues. Does your town have clean drinking water? Healthcare. Do you have insurance? Do you have maternity care? Prenatal access? Worker protections. Does your job offer adequate maternity leave? Could you even get fired for maybe getting pregnant? These are some examples of those intersections, but really the list goes on. Intersectionality is a concept coined by civil rights advocate Kimberly Crenshaw that helps us understand how different issues of justice connect. So in 2016, the booth highlighted the ways in which reproductive justice connects with racial justice. Like there are certain issues such as police violence and exacerbated health and wage inequality that impact the decision to have a child or continue a pregnancy if you are a person of color. Economic justice. This includes things like equal pay, a living wage, or student loan debt. LGBTQIA liberation. People who are gay, trans, queer, and gender nonconforming, they need reproductive health care too. They get pregnant, they have families, and they deserve the full support and equal protection from not only our communities, but also the government. Environmental justice. This was touched on in the last slide also, but like global warming, environmental pollution. These things impact the environment in which we grow our families. Condoms on a stick. So condoms on a stick are one of the most popular Our Justice booth features. We've got them every year, and they're just a joy to hand out. But there's a few rules about them. So first, safer sex supplies cannot be set out on the tables. Volunteers have to wear the condom pusher bags and keep all their condoms in there at all times, or they have to wear them at all times. And if you don't wear them, it has to be under the table. They can't just be out. We're not allowed to offer safer sex supplies, but people can ask for them. So to get around that, you could say, you know, hey, ask me what's in my bag, or would you like to know what's in my bag? But yeah, you can't just be real explicit about that. And then each bag will contain condoms on a stick, and then also have some additional safer sex supplies like dental dams, lube, or receptive condoms for people to select. And then just a note for Age versus Candy, offering actual suckers on a stick for any youngsters that stop by, but don't assume that just because someone appears to be young that they aren't having sex or don't need our information. If they walk by and they are interested, we want to find a way to engage them. This year we'll be selling vintage Our Justice Pro-Choice Resources merch. Here's the list right here. We'll be selling everything through the Square device. We've got these instructions right here, but then they'll also be at the booth, so you don't have to worry about like committing them to memory right now. So just make sure that you run everything through for every sale, and so you can use the Square to do even like a cash or a check transaction. Just note that we will not be doing change for checks. So if someone writes a check for like $5 or $10 over, we're not able to make change for that. And then at the end of the night, staff or a board member will connect the envelopes or collect them from the booth. And let's see here. So for cash, also make sure to put the cash in the dated envelope for all of the merchandise sold that day. And then if change is needed, use the money designated for change that's located in the cash box. We'll also have a receipt pad in case someone wants a paper receipt for their purchase. So that's an option. Social media. So we definitely want people to engage with us online, and we want to encourage that. So there's a few different ways that they can engage with us. The first is using the hashtags OurJustice or Condom on a Stick. They can take a sideline at hashtag OurJustice, hashtag Condoms on a Stick. For the campaign, they could do hashtag Keep BC Free, or tag the Minnesota for Access or Keep Birth Control Free accounts. And then our social media accounts, everything is at OurJusticeRJ. There's a really important thing to note, though, is that we want to discourage people from including the State Fair logo in their posts, and also from tagging the State Fair. They can use hashtag State Fair or hashtag MN State Fair. Hashtag Great Minnesota Get Together, but they just can't tag the actual fair organization or put any logos on there. And that kind of goes back to them not loving us so much, even though they should. We're awesome. Let's see. Next. Where we're located. So we are in the grandstand, lot number 75. Here's a little map of where the grandstand is in connection to everything. We're just kind of right in the middle of it. The closest parking lots to us are the Robin lot and the Owl lot. Inside the grandstand, we are near the hammocks and kitty corner from the salsa guy. He's on a, you'll be able to see him. He's got a huge booth and a microphone. So, in addition, there are 2 off-ground sites that the fair has added this year to help facilitate or help volunteers and employees of fair booths park and travel from. So the first is the Living Word Church. Keep an eye out, or keep in mind that there are 2 of these churches in St. Paul, and only one of them is the official partner. So if you want to go here, go to the one on Pryor. So make sure that you're going to the one on Pryor. And then the other place you can go to is the Ford plant by Minnehaha. And then each of those locations will be a park and ride. So you can park your car there, and then they will shuttle you back and forth. Here's a little map of inside the grandstand. So you can kind of see where everything is. So then we've got us, and this is the hammocks. I think this is usually a hose person. And then the salsa guy is like right around there. So that's the kitty corner. Yeah. This is a graphic of last year's booth layout for reference. So this is where people are walking by. Oh, yep, hose nozzle booth, and then the hammocks. And this will be just a back wall. So we'll probably have a slightly different layout this year, but we're still working on it. But I just want to give you an idea as to what that looks like. And then keep in mind that during your shift, we're really not able to leave the booth square. So don't go out into the lane. You got to stay in here. And people can definitely come in, but we just can't spend our time out of the booth. In preparation. So let's see here. So this year, state fair tickets are not included for volunteers unless you're volunteering for multiple shifts or you are unable to afford to get into the fair without our assistance. We really understand that this is not ideal, and then providing fair tickets for volunteers has been a very recent thing for our justice, but we really do hope that it can be resumed as soon as possible in the coming year. So this is not a permanent thing. This is just for this year. We're not able to do that. If this is an issue or you have questions about it, please do contact me. I'll do, happy to help however I can. For dress code, it's August. It's hot. Be prepared. Be comfortable, casual. Make sure that you're able to stand or walk around for 4 hours, that you've got the proper footwear for that. We definitely want to encourage any PCR or our Justice t-shirts. I mean, how many Bowl-a-thon t-shirts do I have, right? So yeah, any of those are great. We just want to discourage you from wearing political shirts. We are a 501c3, so we're not able to really get involved with politics, so no political shirts. Please, no co-branding. This is our justice booth, so we want to keep it focused on the organization. And then no foul or questionable language. Again, it's hot. Bring a water bottle. There are water fountains in the grandstand, but we want to make sure that volunteers are in the booth and not spending their time kind of running back and forth. So, and then just whatever else you need to just ensure that you are comfortable and you're able to engage with people during your 4-hour shift. So for morning shifts, times run from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. We are asking everyone to arrive 15 minutes early just because sometimes there's traffic. Sometimes you can't find a parking spot. Things happen. So please try to arrive 15 minutes early, and then that also gives you time to sort of set up and figure out how to get into the safe and all of that. If they stop you when you're coming in, just say that you're a volunteer at our Justice, formerly Pro-Choice Resources. There is an opening checklist, so you'll unlock the chest. There's a combo in the back cover of the volunteer handbook. Take the cash box out of the chest. There's $100 in small bills in the black tray. And then have one person, and this is for all the shifts, have one person be responsible for the money box during the shift. Sometimes when there's too many, cooks in the kitchen, it can cause miscommunication. So definitely it's easier just to have one person who's the designated money person. And then, make sure the booth is neat and organized. Ideally, we'll have a lot of traffic, and so sometimes things get shuffled up. So just keep it orderly. And then please don't leave your shift early. Sometimes, as mentioned before, things happen. People might be late, or maybe someone isn't able to make it to their shift. So we just want to make sure that you don't leave early and that there's a little bit of overlap time between, you and then the next shift. Afternoon shifts, 1 to 5 p.m. Again, arrive 15 minutes early, please, at 12:45. There is a middle shift checklist. So again, make sure the booth is organized and neat. Stock t-shirts, printed materials, and then make sure that the phone and tablet with the Square card reader are charged. And then again, don't leave your shift early. Wait for the 5 o'clock shift people to get there. Last shift, closing shift, 5 to 9 p.m. Get there at 4:45, please. And then the checklist for that is to place the black tablecloth over the table with the t-shirts. That just keeps everything organized, clean. And then make sure that all informational brochures and buttons can just be left where they are, so that's fine. You'll leave the 100 and 1s and 5s in the black tray of the money box, and then under the black tray of the money box, there will be an envelope with that day's date on it. You'll also then put all other cash and checks in the envelope and return it under the black tray in that money box. When you're done with the day, lock the cash box in the trunk, but do not put the volunteer handbook in the trunk. It contains the combo, so please don't do that. And then stay until the end of your shift at 9 o'clock. Please. Things to remember. You can call me if there's an emergency, and if there's an emergency during your shift, or maybe you can't make your shift. So if you can't make your shift, let me know as soon as you're able to, preferably at least 24 to 48 hours so I can do my best to try to find alternative coverage. Be punctual. Our booth status will be jeopardized if it's left unstaffed. You know, the contents of the booth could be stolen, lifted if there's not someone there watching it, which we don't want. But then also the state fair folks will be like, hey, that booth isn't operated. Why do we have them here? Let's just cancel their contract. So I definitely want to be there, be present through the whole 12-hour day. And then finish your shift. Please keep the booth neat and organized. Remember that donations cannot be accepted at the booth. You can give them an envelope, or you can encourage them to donate online once they leave the booth. And then yes to pictures, but don't include the State Fair logo in them, and don't tag the State Fair. And please remember, you are representing our justice, so no politics, no foul language, no co-branding, and no questionable behavior. Engaging people. So, you know, this is Minnesota. People are just a little shy sometimes. So you just want to be kind and welcoming. Say hello and smile. Ask if people have heard about our organization, or if they'd like to know, you know, what's in your condom pusher bag. Sometimes you can just watch people. You know, Minnesotans are slow to engage, and you know, they either won't look at you, or they'll look quick and then look away, or maybe they'll walk a little slower, look a little more, walk closer. And then when you see that, you know, don't hesitate to ask them if, you know, maybe they're interested in a button or a t-shirt, or again, if they're interested in seeing what's in your bag. And then you want to make sure to do all these things while not leaving the booth, because again, we cannot leave the booth. And then, you know, if people love us, if they're like, oh my God, I haven't heard of you, but this is amazing, you know, tell them to email us, call the State Fair and tell them how valuable and how much they appreciate us being at the fair. That's really important, that if people are happy that we're there, that we can demonstrate that to the fair organizers, so that way they're more inclined to allow us to come back another year. And I mean, and if they love us and they just want to engage with us also, you know, have them sign up on our website to get the activist alerts and volunteer alerts, so they can continue to be involved and support our justice. So there are, you know, anti-choice, anti-abortion, anti-all of it people there, and that's just what it is. So usually people who don't support our work generally don't engage us at the booth. And if they do, we want to make sure that we're really polite about it, that we end the conversation politely, that we do not start, or if it's started by them, continue any arguments. You know, you can say, I understand that you feel differently about la 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 than I do. And then that's it. You know, thanks for stopping by, but this isn't the time or place for this conversation. You know, please find another spot to enjoy your State Fair experience. You know, we really want to be setting a positive example and making really great first impressions for people who are visiting the fair and haven't heard of us, and having a disagreement in front of the booth is definitely not the way to do that. But if you do get any people who are, you know, harassing, not leaving us alone, call security, you know, call the security guard and contact me right away, so that way you're not being harassed by antis. Again, General, please do not, to reiterate from the rest of the training, again, don't offer safer sex supplies. You can ask people, what's in my bag? Please don't talk to media. If you get a media outlet that stops by and is interested in the organization, just refer them to the Our Justice board to get in touch with them. Please don't co-brand. We want this to be about our justice. So just PCR, Our Justice clothes. Please don't walk out of the booth unless, like, you're going to the bathroom or you're going to get water. But please don't, if people are walking by, make sure that you're in the booth. Don't create or hang your own signs. We'll have the booth set up how we want it to be. Please don't bring anything in addition to that. Don't leave the booth unattended. You know, it's the state fair. Go get your cheese curds before or after. They're delicious, but please don't leave in the middle of your shift to go do that. If you have to go to the bathroom, definitely, but we just want to make sure that there's coverage. Please don't lock the handbook in the trunk. Please don't. And then again, no donations at the booth. They can be sent back with an envelope to submit their donation. Cool. Please feel free to reach out to me at 701-388-7329. You can also continue to email me at statefairingintern@ourjustice.net. You can also reach out to Katie Wick, who is the board chair. There's her number right there. Note that she is out of town until August 26th. So you can just call, text, email me. And then here's the security number for the state fair in case something comes up on site. Lastly, that's the last one. So thanks so much for participating. If you have any questions, again, please do reach out. If you're interested in becoming more involved with Our Justice outside of the state fair, you can get in touch with Katie or the board at contact@ourjustice.net. And then please don't forget, please, to fill out your quizzes so that way we can confirm you for your shift. And then, let us know if you have any questions or run into anything. We just really appreciate you participating this year. So thanks so much. Have a great day.